What's up, everybody? Professional wrestler Chris Wild back with another video on Eagles news now. And please excuse this remote location as Bar 4133 is undergoing some renovations. So here we are in a disclosed location, of course, myself and Little Carson. And what I want to talk about today are some of the other wide receivers, too, in particular, that people are talking about the Eagles possibly drafting. Now, this got me a little nervous because these guys I see as day two guys. And I've seen on a couple mock drafts from a couple of respected analysts are putting these guys as picks for the Eagles at 21, which, again, I just do not believe that they're first-round picks. Not in this draft anyway, with the talent at wide receiver. Now, everybody knows the two guys that I really want the Eagles to get that I think are realistic options are Justin Jefferson and Denzel Mims. However, if those guys are already gone, as well as the other big three, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, and CeeDee Lamb, I would rather have the Eagles take a linebacker or even a cornerback at 21 than draft these two guys that I'm about to talk about, because I believe that they will be around on day two, or at least they should be. And let's start off with the first guy. And this is a surprise, and I've seen his name being brought up more and more as the draft, it's only a couple days away. And that's Brandon Ayuk. Out of Arizona State. He's 6'1", 206 pounds. A speed guy. This guy is a fast guy, but he's a slot receiver. If you look at his highlights, he's definitely a deep threat. He had 8 touchdowns last year, almost 1,200 yards, 65 catches. 710 of those yards were after the catch, 378 yards after contact. He ran a 4.5 at the combine. Long arms, soft hands. He was called the Yak King because he's definitely a guy that when he catches the ball, he's going to get you some yards after the catch. He can also be used in the return game, and the Eagles are going to need somebody to return kicks and punts. Now that Darren Sproles is gone, I just don't think that's a Boston Scott type role. As far as the weaknesses, man, he has a lot of trouble boxing out against good cornerbacks. He's really bad at contested catches. I just looking at this guy, I just don't think he is a first-round pick. The more and more that I look at him, the more and more that I read about the guy. Again, I just don't see him as somebody that the Eagles pick in the first round. I think he'll be there, definitely be there at 53 in the second round. So yeah, again, not a guy that I'm all in on. I could definitely see, the Eagles picking him. And again, the guy only had one real year of production because last year he was behind the heel Henry. And his first 2 years, he was at a junior college. So, there's not a lot to go there on Brandon Ayuk. I see him, and I've seen other analysts seeing him as like a wide receiver 3. So coming out of this draft, we don't want a wide receiver 3. We want a wide receiver 1. That's what we need, a wide receiver 1 or a great number 2 that could be a number 1. So yeah, Ayuk in the first round, no. Maybe second, yeah. And then this next name has been gaining a lot of traction as well, and that's Jalen Reagor. 5'11", 195 pounds, out of TCU, and everybody has heard that he's kind of got an Eagle connection because Monte Reagor played here and also played with Aaron Moorhead, who is the wide receiver coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. This guy has some blazing speed. 4.47 at the combine. I think his game speed is a lot faster than that. He's your basic Z receiver. He can also work out of the slot. Definitely not as good as he can play the Z. He also has some return capabilities as far as being a return guy. Now this dude, man, watching his highlights, he's definitely a fluid receiver, but he's really explosive. He can get you those chunk plays that the Philadelphia Eagles love. Gets to his top speed really quickly. Kind of reminds me of a running back in space. This dude is, as far as a vertical wide receiver, he is devastating, man. He just blows past guys. And is really good at tracking the football. Which, when I say that, I looked at one of his comparisons, and it's questionable. I saw on the Draft Network, one of their analysts had compared him to Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar was not good at tracking the football. However, maybe they say that because one of this guy's biggest weaknesses is drops. This guy drops the ball a lot. He's bothered by press coverage, has a hard time with press coverage. And that's a lot in the NFL, man. I'm tired, and I know a lot of Eagle fans are tired of seeing wide receivers that can't catch the ball or just drop the ball. And now look, this guy had the quarterback play at TCU was not great. So I don't know if maybe that had something to do with it as well. But yeah, again, this guy, Jalen Reagor, as far as speed, and I know that's what the Eagles want is speed and youth. He brings you the speed. He really, really does. It's definitely something that Eagle offense has been lacking for a couple years. I mean, at 53, or maybe, if they have to trade up in the second round to get him, yes, but at 21, goodness gracious, no, absolutely not. Again, if my guys are gone and Reagor's sitting there at 21, I'd rather them take a linebacker. We talked about Patrick Queen. I've also seen Kenneth Murray possibly being available at 21 as far as linebackers go. I'd rather them pick them or a top-notch corner because, look, let's face it, the Eagles don't have a number 2 cornerback. I mean, Sidney Jones, who knows what's going to happen with Sidney Jones. Rasul Douglas is probably out of here. All their other corners that they've picked up are basically slot corners. And then you got Darius Slay. So they're going to need another corner. Let's just be honest here. That's a pressing need. Not as big as wide receiver, but it is there. And if they can get one of these top, C.J. Henderson type cornerbacks at 21, I'd much rather them take him than Jalen Reagor. So we'll see what happens, guys. But these are the other guys. These are the 2 guys that I'm kind of getting nervous about. Again, I'd love to see them get picked in the second round. If the Eagles can pick a top, I want a number 1. I want number 1. That's it. I want a number 1 wide receiver. Jalen Reagor's not a number 1 wide receiver. Neither is Ayuk. I want a number 1 guy. And I've heard people say, well, there is no number 1 guy in this draft. These are just really, really, really good guys, but there's no Julio Jones, no Calvin Johnsons coming out of this class. I kind of want to disagree with that because I think that a guy like Henry Ruggs, a guy like CeeDee Lamb, Denzel Mims even, has the potential to be a very, really strong number 1 franchise kind of wide receiver. And again, these other guys, I think they're just 2 or 3s. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully the next time that I do a video or we'll be back at bar 4133. Also looking forward to streaming live during the NFL draft this Thursday night. Definitely geeked out for that. As I hope everybody else is as well. Thanks for joining. Little Carson has got his mask on. I hope everybody else is staying safe and healthy. And I hope that we beat the shit out of COVID-19 and get back to normal for the NFL season because 2020 looks like it's shaping up to be very interesting. Thanks again, guys. Go Birds. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you later.